Hey everybody, it's Maurice again, and I am coming to you with another video. Don't be distracted by this. It says, in this house, we get wild. And then, but only, yeah. But, so anyway, in this video, I wanted to basically piggyback off of the video that I posted, the last video that I posted, which was basically talking about like why a lot of us are broke, and basically also kind of encouraging a lot of us to start being more cognizant of the things that we're purchasing, and just like really getting ahead of our purchasing habits. One of the things that I had wrote down that I had written down a few different terms that you should probably be mindful of as you start, going through this journey of like being more mindful of your spending and of the approaches that marketers take to reel you in. And so I'll start with the first term, which is exclusive. The second term is premium. The third term is VIP. And then the fourth term is the term that we see everywhere, and that's luxury. And I feel like these, certainly there are other terms that you should be mindful of, but these four really are ones that like really speak to like just to me personally. And I talk about this a lot, specifically the one with luxury, because we see that a lot. We see a VIP and an exclusive and a premium. We see those a lot. You even see that when you like ordering like tequila or whatever. Tequila because I drink tequila. And they always like, do you want like regular or premium? And I do understand, because I'm like, I don't want to have a headache tomorrow. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not saying that every scenario, every situation, you should avoid these things. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, understand that these terms are marketing terms, and they are geared to make you spend more, to make you want to increase whatever your original purchase was. So for instance, let's say that, like when we talk about luxury, let's focus on luxury. When we talk about luxury, let's say that you were looking for an apartment. Now, I don't know how many people you know that have regular apartments, but there is, I just don't even know if I see them anymore. Like, I'm talking about regular schmegular apartments, like what you would have considered your first apartment. You know what I mean? Like, people now, your first apartment is like a luxurious apartment, and everything, you got to have all of the bells and the whistles, and we talk about that in our own lives. In my household is like, we live in they might want to call this luxury, but it's not luxury. It's like, I always say it's a step below luxury. But they market it as luxury though. So anyway, so you have to almost kind of like keep your eye on like when they use those kind of terms, because something like that really is pushing you into an avenue that comes with a cost. Luxury, VIP, premium, exclusive, these things come with a cost. And one of the biggest things, I have this conversation at home a lot. One of the biggest things, at home a lot, we talk about finances a lot, so I can have these conversations and it be like, open space to really kind of like express, ourselves in this way. Being a marketer, I recognize, and this might blow your mind if you've not caught on yet. Being a marketer, I recognize that everything in the world is a product. Yep. Everything in the world is a product. And until people start realizing that products need consumers, then we will forever be in kind of this weird position, with our finances, and weird position with the products that we engage with. Where it seems like a lot of the products that we engage with right now are really dictating the story. They are literally telling us what we should be doing, and we are feeding into it. So for instance, when I say that everything is a product, let's say something as simple as, let's say, education. A bachelor's degree is a product. A master's degree is a product. A PhD is a product. And people need to recognize that when you are saying that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get my master's, or I'm going to go ahead and get my PhD, or I'm going to go and get my bachelor's, that you are subscribing to a product. You are a consumer of that product. You are the consumer, and the product is whatever type degree you're getting. Another example, let's think about, it's literally so many things to even like be able to think about. When you think about, of course, we know that cars, you know what I mean? Like, we know that these are products, what trim you want, what trim level you want is a product. When we think about churches, you know what I mean? Like, you are a consumer. You are there to consume the product being whatever denomination of church that you attend, or the product being, you know what I mean? When I say whatever denomination, I mean whoever is the leader. How do we want to say this? Whatever is the final goal, be it God, Buddha. Well, when I say God, that's so relative. Be it Jesus, Buddha, you know what I mean? Like Latsu, whoever it is, you are a consumer to that product. We're not getting mixed in with like the preacher is the person that preaches and stuff like that. No, because I am a marketer. So, if I'm selling you this pen, I'm just a marketer getting this pen to you. This is the product. You're the consumer. I'm just like doing the work. So the preacher, look at the preacher in that sense. The preacher is just the person sent to do the work. The messaging, godliness, whomever it is the product, and you are the person that's receiving it. The end user is the consumer. So I just want us to think about that. Think about when we even talk about, in terms of when we look at what's going on in America right now, all of this, unrest, and people saying that, I can't afford I can't afford a house, and, I can't afford a car, and people can't afford to take care of their kids. And, you will hear people say, I followed the American dream. I went to college. I got my degree. I went and worked for a job, and it's not working out for me. That is because the American dream is a product, and we are seeing that the product is flawed. For instance, if you were buying this pen from me, and this pen was, actually perfect. This was broken. You bought the pen, and it was in good shape. When you got it home, this is how it turned out. This is, this is what happened when you started writing with it. What are you going to do? You want to bring that pen back, and you want to let me know that the pen that I sold you is faulty. It is not working. It is not what you paid for. And then what do? You want your money back. And so essentially, this is what we're seeing in our country right now, is that people bought into what the terms of the product of America was. And now they are seeing that after spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars, going to college and maybe getting their degree and then going to get a master's degree or whatever. But let's just even stop at a bachelor's, getting a bachelor's degree, and then, coming out and expecting to be able to get a job, to be able to take care of themselves, to be able to pay back the money, that they borrowed against for the product of education. They are quickly recognizing that it's faulty, that the system is not actually the way that it is not functioning in a way that they were promised. That's because we have a product that is faulty right now, and people want to return it. But what can you do? You can't return your bachelor's degree or your master's degree or your PhD. You are left saddled with all of that debt. And I think that until most of us, a lot of us, majority of us, start considering that every experience that we have in this country, in most countries, but I'm speaking about the one that I live in, until we recognize that we are all acting as consumers. It is all product driven, product centered. Everything that comes before you in this country is based off of, centered around, relying upon you being a consumer and you leaning into what the characteristic traits of a consumer is. And so, my unsolicited advice, again, is that you put on your specs. You see, I put mine on today. You put on your specs and make sure that you are hip to the shenanigans that they have going on, and that you are not subscribing to the madness. You know what I mean? Like, really pull yourself out of this and say, like, Yeah, I need a new apartment because whatever. But like, do I need the most luxurious apartment that exists over here on this side of town? Probably not. You know what I mean? But we also have just been so deeply ingrained to believe that because we are Americans, that this is our birthright, the luxury and freedom and freedom. I mean, that is a joke, but that's another story for another day. But, you know, we basically are sold these stories and we feed into it. And so, again, my unsolicited advice is that we be more in tune to what we're seeing, what we're experiencing, and remember that, you know, in order to really be a consumer, you have to be aware that you're being sold a product. And so in your everyday life, start thinking, start looking around and start asking yourself, you know what I mean? Like, what is this? Is this like, you know, yeah, oh, this is a product. This is the product that I'm subscribing to. You know what I mean? Like that, for lack of easy example, that upgrade of that value meal, while it might be, you know what I mean, an insignificant amount of money, a 20 cent, 10 cent, you've subscribed to a higher level product. You know what I mean? Like, it's what we know. It's what we recognize. And it's what we hope that you never get hit to. So keep your eyes open. Stay laser focused on what your objectives are. Remember the why in your life. I keep myself grounded because I'm always asking myself, does this further advance our why? What is the why? My why is a life of freedom. I'm talking about a life of, you know, and all that is not that I understand that leverage. I'm saying my life, my idea of freedom is to be unleveraged, you know, no crazy debt, not to be, you know what I mean, subjected to the whimsical nature of, you know, employment, you know, really just kind of like building myself up and being focused on how to create a life that puts me in more of a position to be able to control the things that I want to do and the things that I don't want to do. And for me, the first steps have been to, number one, recognize that I am a consumer, and then to try to mitigate that as much as possible. Of course, you'll never be able to 100% remove yourself from being a consumer. I mean, unless you, whatever. But but at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, that's been my journey. And so, you know, hopefully you can, you know, start, you know, to look at your life and figure out what those areas are that you could make changes and to adjust your lifestyle to make sure that you live a freer life, you know, because I think that is what a lot of us are trying to get back to. A lot of us are trying to get back to a life that we feel deeply within us. Something deeply within us is telling us that this is not the way. And I think that the more of us that start pulling ourselves back out of this, you know, hopefully we start seeing, you know, greater differences and better changes. And so hopefully this video was helpful to somebody. And I appreciate you watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.